from referring to himself as Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat. Diagnosis: Morbus Organizus Disorder, or MOD. Observation: patient exhibits an artistically delightful and disturbed mind. The patient's pursuit of selling t-shirts and merchandise that celebrate the macabre and the horrifying has led to the diagnosis of Morbus Organizus Disorder, a condition that melds artistic madness with a twisted appreciation for the darker side of cinema. Treatment plan being that the patient's products are the perfect embodiment of their twisted artistic vision and the unique nature of the condition. Procurement of said merchandise is recommended.
You go through 2 cases of bottled water a week.
There is one of my clients that I like the water at their house.
Mayday! Mayday! Can you hear us? We need help. I repeat, we need help.
Buy their shit, guys.
Oakhurst Lunatic Asylum, case number 1972. Dr. Mortimer Thornfield recording. Patients 04859 through 04859 known as the Psycho Bunnies. Their true identities are unknown to me at this time. Diagnosis: Eccentricus malevolentis disorder, or EMD. The patients seem to have inclinations of a twisted and unconventional artistic talents, exhibiting a disconcerting combination of insanity, disorderliness, and a penchant for the macabre. Observation: their collective behavior and unyielding commitment to selling t-shirts and merchandise that revel in the darker aspects of existence have led to the diagnosis of eccentricus malevolentis disorder, a condition that merges artistic eccentricity with a delightfully wicked sense of humor. Treatment plan: the patient's relentless obsession with creating and selling t-shirts adorned with sinister slogans, macabre imagery, and morbid humor is a defining symptom of their condition. Therefore, procurement of said merchandise is recommended.
Dance with me this Halloween. We'll wake the dead and make the suburbs scream. We can be whoever we want to be. This night can only get better. Let's stay up late watching horror movies. Just remember Freddy's only in dreams. Stay close and we can both avoid the creeps. This night is only getting better. I'll trade your Kit Kat for receipts. You give me the rush of my dreams. My tooth is only getting sweeter. I've got a Dracula looking for you and me to lay on the roof and watch the moon rising. As the bats screech above us and the wolves howl out, we'll know this night can't get any better.
pants on fire.
Dear godmother now.
It's me way back in the background.
Oh, that's better. Oh, wow. There you go. You want the shocker right now? That's how you got in this predicament. That's how we're having a daughter.
I'm pretty sure that's not how I got in the predicament. Predicament.
That's not how we got in the pickleball.
Predicament.
Perganance. Pergante.
She was using that penis too much.
Penis.
Penis.
Vagina.
What?
What?
I was just seeing what I put on this pre-roll. I put a lot of stuff on
Well, some of it was from one of our trips
there. Yeah, that's...
after
Yeah.
Porphonatica.
It wasn't Porphonatica.
Yeah, it was.
No, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was leaving Porphonatica.
Porphonatica. You guys are holding your phones up.
We're gonna play 3 songs and cry like little bitches. Yeah, so black metal of you guys.
Uh-oh.
What's uh-oh?
I don't know. Has this played through already, or is it still...
This is the end of
First-
it.
I don't know. I can't see anything but YouTube.
That's the only issue with Streamlabs, is that you can't see the chat or anything else. You're invited into my studio. It's like you're literally in front of my computer.
Yeah.
I wish I could be a perfect human being. I think that's how we're going to keep it going. Murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured. It has been established that persons who have recently
Partially
died
devoured.
have been returning to life.
Hey, everybody. We ain't going to go live until we get 15 people in here. Now, if y'all can go ahead and subscribe, then we'll go ahead and send you out some shitty-ass stickers.
500.
Get with your nearest cult member.
Double stacking is a noun that refers to the action in a horror movie of impaling both members of a canoodling couple.
The creation of the atomic bomb. What was it?
Oppenheimer?
The Manhattan Project.
The Manhattan.
Everything they're bringing up.
I was about to say the Philadelphia experiment. I mean, which one are we talking about here?
To go into depths, I'm looking up heavy water. What does heavy water do to a person's body? And I'm like, okay,
Like,
they're watching me. Now. I
me and
know
our
they're
daughter were talking about the slappening, not the slappening that me and you talk about,
Oh.
but there used to be past tense, a bear, and I want to say it was in Yellowstone, I think. And it figured out that if it walked up to hikers and slapped the shit out of them, that they would give the bear their backpack. And the bear had 2 babies, and they wound up having to put her down.
Cultural activities and of course plenty of outdoor
Do what?
recreation.
I'm not sure.
We have so much for you to explore in this little slice of paradise.
Oh,
But anyway, they had to put her down.
Ritual Hill, Carcosa Caverns, or Nuts
But
Swamp.
the 2 babies, they picked up the habit of running around and slapping
You
hikers
won't
too,
find a
so they had
friendlier gosh
to.
darn little town that's
get rid of
neither
them,
here
too.
nor there.
So it was
Anywhere
bear
else.
slapping.
Need more information or help
Oh,
planning your
Teresa's
next trip?
Henry.
I see
Visit us on
TK, I
the
see
World Wide Web
Henry.
at peakwichohio.com
I'm not sure
or
why we
contact
can't
our
see
Visitors
switched
Center
in
at
multi-stream, but hey,
It takes because they haven't
513278701.
commented yet. It'll come
Hope
up
to
right
have
now.
you soon.
I've been
Romper,
commenting.
stomper, bumper, boo.
Rubber baby bump. Blah, blah. Hey, there we are. All right, we're here.
It's time.
We're here. We're now, or some shit.
Do you remember South Park with the metrosexual pride parades?
What?
We're here. We're not queer, but we're close. Get used to it.
All right. Let's go ahead.
There we go. Now I can see it.
Let's start this. Where's my intro? All right, where's my intro? We're gonna do this.
Yay.
Whoops. What is it? Oh, that's what's going on here.
What are you doing?
I gotta turn that off. Now that's on. Okay.
Okay.
Intro. There we go. Haha.
Privacy.
It's the privacy.
The privacy.
The things you ladies don't have to worry about. It's just sitting down and crossing your legs and
No,
just
we have
squishing your
tits.
balls.
We have tits and husbands that roll over on them.
Hey, we got a subscriber. Now what do we get? A like.
Hell
Henry.
yeah. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you,
Yay.
Henry. So, I am Hex's Daemon. This is Akia Daemon, and there is Odd Mother. And we are You Can't Sit With Us.
We are.
Because you can't sit with us. And we are, what is it? The Curious Case of Kermit Gosnell Part 2.
Yeah.
This
Yes,
guy-
I don't want him sitting anywhere near us.
No, I don't want to meet this guy. I would gladly meet Jill DeRay over him. And Jill DeRay was bad.
Jill DeRay.
Jill DeRay.
Yeah.
So
I actually, Gilles would be interesting to talk to.
I would just because he's a interesting, a fucked up person in history. But I would meet him over Kermit Gosnell.
Speaking of people speaking to fucked up people, this whole thing with Weezer, the bassist from Weezer's wife,
It's getting crazier and crazier.
it gets crazier all the time. But
Did you hear that? Oh, I guess the dude who broke into their yard was a cop of some sort, and that's the reason that's starting to make more sense of why they
are framing her?
Yes.
Let's just say what it is: framing.
Don't fuck with the LAPD.
Hey, Nadine.
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 Yeah, because she walked out with a gun to protect her yard. Now, mind you, the guy was running through in his damn underwear.
So I think I could be wrong. What I heard, she actually had fired shots at him.
No, she
I thought
didn't.
she did.
What it was is they yelled at her 3 times to drop it, and she didn't.
Wow.
And then they shot her in the shoulder.
That's a tricky thing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they yelled at her 3 times and she showed up in the mirror.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say.
Weezer.
What I was going to say though was, did you know that her book is actually her interviewing Samuel Little?
Yeah,
Really?
That's a serial killer I want to revisit too. He's a very interesting serial killer.
But do you think that Samuel Little actually killed that many people, or do you think he's
I believe
pulling
he killed
another
more.
one of? You believe he killed more?
I believe he killed more, and that the reason being is the artwork.
He was all over the place too, like everywhere.
He was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that was part of what we talked about was that Hexus here knew or worked with somebody who may have actually encountered him.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But it was interesting
That
to me.
was a messed up situation.
Oh God, right?
Teresa,
Yeah.
nice to see you guys too. Everyone's here.
That was definitely.
And I'm blind. I can't see anybody,
Yeah.
but I'll take everybody's word for it. Hello, everybody.
Teresa's here. Henry's here. Calvin is here, and Nadeezy is here.
Naditi. Calvin.
Calvin and I are going back and forth with dancing emojis.
That you're about to say Calvin and I are going back and forth with Danzig.
I got the pew pew pews.
Oh, speaking of Danzig, I went on a kick last night on Danzig music, man. Took half an edible, and all of a sudden I was like, this is how the gods kill.
Oh, I'm out of water already.
You want a sip?
Yeah.
Before you start the readings? Uh-huh.
Where are we at? The legal case?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're at the
the
legal
legal
case right
case.
now.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's go
That's
ahead.
what I thought.
All right.
Let's go ahead and
So
start.
let's start with the legal case. So actually, we're going to start with the 2010 raid.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Raid.
Gosnell's
You do have
clinic,
to start somewhere.
the Women's Medical Society, was raided on February 18th, 2010, under a search warrant by investigators from Federal Bureau of Investigation and Pennsylvania State Police. The raid was the result of a months-long investigation by the DEA and the Philly Police, and the state's Dangerous Drug Offender Unit into suspected illegal drug prescriptions used at the practice. The investigation had also revealed the suspicious 2009 death of Karnamaya Monger, which we did talk about last episode, who was a 41-year-old refugee from Bhutan, which had in turn brought to light further information about the unsanitary conditions, the use of untrained staff, which also includes teenagers.
Good Lord.
And the use of powerful drugs without proper medical supervision and control. Thus, when the February 2010 raid took place, staff from Pennsylvania's Department of State and Health also attended, as these issues were under their remit. Check this out. When
wow.
First off, a picture that I can't really show. The grand jury exhibit of bags containing fetal remains inside a freezer.
This is fucking brutal, man.
Think of after you go grocery shopping.
Yeah, that's how packed it is.
Yeah, think of
That's how
Jeffrey
packed it
Dahmer's freezer. No joke.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you've seen Jeffrey Dahmer's freezer, that's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah. So when the team members entered the clinic, they were appalled, describing it to the grand jury as filthy, deplorable, and disgusting, very unsanitary and outdated, horrendous, and by far the worst that these investigators had ever experienced.
It's one thing for investigators to go in and see, they know they're going into a crime scene and it's adults, but when it's literally people who are like not even born yet,
It's not just that.
Yeah.
There was
That's why I could never do any of those kind of jobs that would involve possibly seeing horrible things happen to children.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the crazy part is, well, obviously the fetuses, the fetal remains were a huge part of being horrible, but it's not just that. There was blood all over the floor. There was the stench of urine in the air.
Oh my
There was
God.
actually a flea-infested cat wandering through the facility.
Not just that,
and there was cat shit on the stairs.
all over the place.
Good God.
Yeah.
And all this guy did was perform abortions all day long and take people's money. That's what he worshipped.
There were semi-conscious women scheduled for abortions that were moaning in the waiting room and the recovery room.
Quite literally, it's a scene from hell. Like, no joke. It is a scene from an Edward Lee book.
It does. It sounds that way.
So the women in the recovery room, they were sitting on dirty recliners that were covered in blood-stained and they were covered with blood-stained blankets.
Can you imagine that? You made the hardest choice of your life, and whatever brought you there. But then on top of that, add insult to injury, you are literally laying around in the most filthiest conditions.
All of these women. Hey, Kisa.
Hey, Kisa.
All of these women.
Even though I'm going to go back and say, and I don't mean to interrupt, that these late-term abortions, there is a little bit of responsibility. Well, I don't want to say a little bit.
100%.
There is responsibility on the patient's end too when it comes to that.
100%. But Oh my gosh. There was so all these women, both the sedated ones that are supposed to be pre-abortive, and then the sedated ones that are in the recovery room post-abortive, they were actually sedated by unlicensed staff
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
long before Gosnell even got to the clinic.
Wow.
How much are you giving me? I don't know. You're just not going to be awake.
And this went on for years.
Years.
Oh, this is
Since
actually
the 70s.
No. This is, but yeah, but this is
A couple
actually
of decades.
Yep.
as like the DEA and the health department and everybody. This is when they came in.
Yeah.
This is just when they went in and
This
the
is-
FBI and all of them executed this warrant. So they actually asked the staff members, "Hey, how much medication? What's the dosage that you gave these women?" They couldn't accurately state what medication, what the dosages
Good
were.
God.
Yeah.
To any of the patients. They couldn't tell them exactly what they did. They couldn't pronounce the medication. They couldn't tell you which medication they used. They couldn't tell you how much they used. And these are all women who are moaning in other rooms, either waiting
And the
to or,
inventory was past. Many of them were past their expiration dates.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Insane.
How crazy is that? And from what I understand, they didn't just use like liquid morphine or liquid administered medications. I believe we even touched base on it last week, or the last episode. They were sometimes crushing up pills and administering them that way. And something that people don't realize with that is it's actually very commonly seen in addicts that are crushing up pills and intravenously injecting themselves. Because basically a pill is the medication and then a bunch of other crap added to it so that you can take the pill. And typically
Right.
if you
So it
take
doesn't eat up your stomach.
Yeah, exactly. So typically when you take it, your stomach disintegrates everything and whatever it is passes through your system. But if you take it intravenously, it builds up in your system. All these other things that were never supposed to go into your vein will build up in your system. And there is a lung disorder actually that that will develop from it because your body is not meant to take that.
Well, the thing about it too, and I know we brought this up in the part 1, is a lot of this he was using oxycodone. And if I remember correctly, I can remember when it was kind of the new painkiller that all the doctors were prescribing before they realized everybody got hooked to it.
Yeah.
A lot of these are time release tablets.
Yep.
And so people would split them thinking, okay, well, that one pill is a little bit too strong, so I'll just break it in half and take half. And they would wind up overdosing because it was supposed to be time release and their whole body got like a mega dose
Oh, yeah.
all at one time.
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, because I've been watching that show Autopsy, there was a part of an episode where they figured out that the lady had murdered her husband because they had originally listed him as actually dying of a natural cause.
On a random note, we fell asleep last night to that show.
Yeah. No, I watched it this afternoon too.
Oh, I've seen it multiple times on HBO.
Yeah.
I watched that show when I was a kid.
Oh, I know. But this particular one that I'm thinking of, which actually reminded me of that information, she was injecting her husband with Valium. And he ended up going into the hospital. When she visited him in the hospital after he was starting to improve, she injected his saline bag with Valium.
Oh, wow.
And that's how he died. But they listed him as dying from natural causes. And it took 3 years for them to overturn it because his sister was like, he wasn't a druggie.
Yeah.
And they had mentioned that the lungs will actually develop these polyps, which make it difficult to breathe. And it's from not the medication itself, it's from the additives in the pills.
Probably your body trying to rid itself, because your body will try to rid itself of any type of like junk and toxins and stuff like that, I guess it just builds up in the lungs.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
By the way, Keira Knightley followed us 3 days ago.
really? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, awesome. Right here.
Right there.
You know what? Let's just go ahead and bring this up real fast. Here, Keira Knightley right there. Just so all the haters know who's following us.
It's not even her.
It's not even her. It is her. And
It's not like Elon Musk 500 times.
Oh, and Jack Weeks.
I got it. Animal fur in my mouth.
Oh,
It's probably from that filthy cat.
the filthy.
It was Jax. It's totally Jax.
It was Jack Weeks.
No, Jax.
Oh, yeah.
The dog. A golden retriever. Oh man. Yeah, the baby's doing great.
Oh,
Kisa.
yeah, okay.
Just
Nice. Thank you,
Thank
Kisa.
you, Kisa.
Kisa shared on X.
Awesome.
Yay, thank you.
All right, so yeah, they didn't know the dosage, they didn't know the medications, and they couldn't tell anybody that asked them. So many of the medications in the inventory were in fact past their expiration
Wow.
date. Surgical procedure rooms were filthy and completely unsanitary, resembling bad gas station restrooms.
Ugh.
Oh, so totally clean for California standards. I'm kidding.
Ugh.
No, gross.
Instruments were not sterile. Equipment was rusty and outdated. Oxygen equipment was covered in dust and had not been inspected for a very long time.
Why is that like irony right there? Oxygen equipment covered in dust.
That's bad.
This reminds me of something out of like Silent Hill or something.
Oh, it
Yeah.
gets worse. It actually gets worse. The same corroded suction tube used for
Oh.
abortions was the only tubing available for oral airways.
For their Slurpee machine.
Oh.
No.
It's fucked up.
It's
man.
the only
What?
tube. Hold on. The only tubing available for oral airways if assistance for breathing was needed.
Oh, fucking gross, man. What is wrong with these
Oh, my
people?
Lord. Like you can go to, I mean, I'm not trying to simplify it, but in that sense of thinking, you can go and buy like 5 feet of tubing
You can go
in
buy,
all kinds of sizes
you
at
can,
Home Depot
you
for
can go
like
s-
$2.
you can go buy a thin-walled 3/8 fuel line. Silicone, if you want to be more technical with it. That would be much more hygienic.
Just resuscitate me with like a paper towel tube.
It
With how much
gets a
money they
million
were
times
making?
worse.
They could have literally went and bought like just nylon line.
It gets way worse.
Yeah, it's about to get nasty.
It's about
I
to
mean,
get
not that that's
way
not
worse.
nasty.
No, fetal remains were actually haphazardly stored throughout the clinic in bags, milk. Hold on.
Haphazardly.
In bags, milk jugs, orange juice cartons, and even cat food containers.
Fucking milk jugs.
Cat
Why?
food containers.
Why? My question is
Cat food.
why?
How OCD was this guy? Or is this guy?
He's not. I would venture to say he is not. Cat food
I
containers.
mean, what do you like look down and realize you have like, I don't know,
A leg?
baby matter on you, and you just like, let me just
Did they
sit
just-
it in this open can of cat food.
I mean, this guy is worse than the Nazis. He is worse than Mengele. I'm sorry. He literally he brought in more monsters who all of them were like, I don't know what to do with these fetal remains. Well, let's just go throw them in a milk jug and a cat food container and just leave them on the side. It doesn't
Or
matter.
orange juice tube.
Yeah, what the fuck?
So in this conversation that he ended up having with Detective Wood, Gosnell actually admitted that at least 10 to 20% of these fetal remains were after 24 weeks, which is the legal limit at the time.
Wow.
In some cases, surgical incisions had been made at the base of the fetal skulls.
Yeah.
The investigators
Ugh.
found a row of jars containing just the severed feet of
Why?
fetuses.
Oh, he was into something else. There
Oh,
was
he-
something else going on there.
In the basement, they discovered medical waste piled high. The intact 19-week fetus delivered by Mrs. Monger, 3 months earlier, was in the freezer. In all, the remains of 45 fetuses were recovered. At least 2 of them, probably 3 of them, had been actually viable.
Keys' comment right here. It's like the scene
Yeah,
in
there's
Dirty
a big
Dancing.
fat pineapple.
Yeah.
There's a big fat pineapple
Waiting.
awaiting Mr. Gosnell.
Oh, yeah.
Keys has said it's like the scene in Dirty Dancing where Penny had a rough abortion in character, according to Johnny's cousin. Yeah, except for someone did put baby against the wall or corner or something like that in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, shocker. Gosnell's license to practice was suspended.
Oh.
You don't say.
Except for when they started coming after him, he was still able to, he was able to still operate for like 9 years.
Oh, no. Get this. It was suspended. Remember, they went on the 18th.
Yeah.
It was suspended on the 22nd, 2010.
Wow.
So, and a plethora of findings were presented to a grand jury on May 4th, 2010. Public discussion focused on claims of unsanitary conditions, other unacceptable conditions at the practice. Now, mind you, he has been doing this since the 70s, and it took them till 2010 to actually come down on him.
Well, yeah, no, 1999 is when they started investigating him.
Yeah.
So, and they
11 years.
They could have easily.
But they had complaints against him before that.
Way before that.
So, like, there is so much, like, responsibility to go around. It's almost like a plethora of it.
Yeah. This psycho did televised abortions.
People want to know how conspiracy theories get started with the government right here.
I don't feel like this
Why
is
was
a
he allowed to
conspiracy.
operate?
Well,
Because
and
he
you
was
know,
in a play
you
area.
had whole groups of people getting upset when they tried to televise an exorcism.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
right?
But you can televise an abortion?
3 of them.
In the
Wait,
70s.
No. There were more than 3, but there were 3 main ones.
3 weeks worth. It wasn't, 3. It was, he did it for 3 weeks.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
It was it kind of like the Jerry Lewis, like, telethon or something?
Right?
Guys, we go ahead and we get 5 more callers, okay? We're going to go ahead and we'll abort this next fetus.
Oh, yeah. And that wasn't that when
And
he...
donate so we can put the remains in something other than a cat, empty,
Oh,
Do we have empty cat carriers
food
over
can.
here, or we could dispose of it properly?
Wasn't that when he introduced his new fandangled contraption that was a ball basically with razors that he'd shove up there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The one that, like, ate up the insides of the woman,
Oh,
too.
my God. One of them died.
Just took a blender and just stuck it up there is what he did.
He might as well have. God.
Like a beater. You know those beaters you can buy, like, at Walmart?
Yeah.
You just stick those prongs on.
Yeah, basically. God. So, yeah.
I'm sorry. My dark humor has to come in because this is so freaking depressing.
Calvin, be the 12th caller and get $19.95 off your next appointment.
Right.
Next abortion.
$19.95.
Jesus.
So get this. Public discussion focused on the claims of unsanitary conditions and other unacceptable conditions at the practice. I feel like I would focus more on the late-term abortions.
Yeah, right? Like, this is how fucked up society got. Like,
Oh, it's dirty. No. It's not just dirty. It is filthy, and they're killing actual babies.
It's a woman's right. Well,
Not at that point.
it's brutal what they're doing here. I don't know. I'm
I'm
sorry.
still trying to figure out why he put remains in an empty cat food can. Like, wasn't there a wastebasket somewhere nearby? I mean, you could use a Walmart bag.
He basically had a right to kill, or he had a right. He had a license to kill, and he just did whatever he wanted with the remains. It's so messed up, man.
Media reports stated that furniture and blankets were all stained with blood, that freely roaming cats shit wherever they pleased, and that non-sterilized equipment was used and reused on patients. According to the grand jury report, patients were given labor-inducing drugs by staff who had no medical training. Once labor began, the patient would be placed on a toilet. After the fetus fell into the toilet, it would be fished out.
What the fuck?
So not to clog the plumbing.
What the?
Wow.
In the recovery room, patients were seated on dirty recliners covered in blood-stained blankets. Prosecutors alleged that Gosnell had not been certified in either gynecology or obstetrics. The grand jury estimated that his practice took in 10 to 15,000 a night of additional income from his exceedingly high level of prescriptions.
Wow.
Again, going off of conspiracy theories here. And this is not a conspiracy. Abortion clinics and places like okay, now I'm not saying that everything that Planned Parenthood does is bad, but the abortion part, yeah. But places like Planned Parenthood and other abortion clinics were placed in low income and high minority locations intentionally. And so was this clinic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, he was paying to be able to operate for that long. Somebody was getting money under the table.
Oh, they
Oh,
were.
To keep their mouth
yeah.
shut and look the other way.
So
Because even though this may not have been as regulated as it is now, this is too much.
Oh, it is.
Like
oh, totally.
somebody would have said something way before somebody had to die. I mean, well, I know the fetuses died, but you know what I mean.
Oh
Well,
yeah. But
They have all different means for gentrification, and this is one of them. I'm sorry, it is.
Yeah.
Literally.
Wow.
Let's just go ahead and just kill off the poor. That was their logic.
that's what they were
basically.
doing. And one of the people that they did kill was actually a refugee.
Wow.
Mhm.
And they didn't give a shit. He did
Oh.
not give a shit that he did. In fact, I got a picture of her right here with her husband.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was a refugee from Bhutan.
It's just insane.
So, in 2011, Gosnell was arrested on January 19th, 5 days after the certification of the grand jury's report. He was charged with 8 counts of murder. Prosecutors allege that he killed 7 babies born alive by severing their spinal cord with scissors. He was also responsible for a death in 2009, and that is Karnamaya Mongar. Yeah. Gosnell's wife, Pearl, and 8 other suspects were also arrested in connection with the case. The DEA, the FBI, the Office of the Inspector General also sought 23 count indictment charging Gosnell and 7 members of his former staff with drug conspiracy relating to the practice's illegal prescription of highly addictive painkillers and sedatives outside of the usual course of professional practice and for no legitimate medical purpose.
Wow.
The 3rd degree murder charge, and it was only 3rd degree, which it should have been first, was for Karnamaya Mongar. She was 41. She was a refugee from Bhutan, which we mentioned. She had immigrated that year, actually. She had just got here. According to prosecutors, Gosnell's staff gave this 90-pound woman a lethal dose of anesthesia and painkillers during the abortion. During Gosnell's trial, a toxicologist testified to unsafe levels of drugs, and the lead of anesthesiology at University of Pittsburgh Medical School testified that the dose received by her was outrageous.
Wow.
And that most average adults would have stopped breathing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a picture in the notes in the Wikipedia now.
Woo! So
They actually put it in there.
Gosnell's lawyer asserted that Mongar had other drugs in her system that did not come from him or his clinic, and that none of the infants were born alive. The claim was rejected by the grand jury based upon expert testimony, and it was the dose of Demerol, not some mystery pill. The 7 other murder charges are all 1st-degree murder. They relate to babies whom staff have testified to have seen crying or moving after a complete birth, and whose deaths were the result of subsequent lethal action. They are they arise because of the born alive rule, which is a principle of common law in the United States, which stipulates that by default, for legal purposes, parenthood arises, and therefore unlawful killing constituting murder becomes possible immediately upon the victim being born alive.
That's just insane.
That's a hard picture to look at right there. Do y'all
Yeah,
see
it
what
is.
I'm looking at?
Yeah,
we saw it.
it was actually one of the ones that was born alive.
I was not expecting that to be in the
Yeah.
Wikipedia notes
Uh-uh.
at all, but it was there.
Whew. So, Stephen Massoff, a clinic employee who pled guilty to similar charges in 2011, testified that he had snipped the spines, oh Jesus, of more than 100 infants after they had
Yeah.
been born alive. And that and he's talking about himself. He himself, Steve Massoff.
Wow.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Jesus. And that it was considered standard procedure at the clinic. A number of other employees had also testified to the same point. No physical evidence exists for 5 of the 7 cases. Charges are based on staff testimony and denied by Gosnell. A photograph exists of the 6th who had a gestational age of 30 weeks. The physical remains were obtained of the 7th. The grand jury report states that a medical expert with 43 years of experience in performing abortions was appalled.
Wow.
Another abortionist was appalled.
Yeah, think about that.
That's saying something.
That's like literally like someone who works in a morgue going, I can't work on this body. This is really bad.
He said, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of them cutting the spinal cord during an abortion.
Well, I mean, once they're born, right? I mean, if
That's
they're
the whole thing.
born alive,
They-
you're supposed to stop and save them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. United States Attorney of the Eastern District of Pennsylvania also alleged that Gosnell's former office staff at Women's Medical Society ran a prescription pill mill from June 2008 through February 18th, the day that they raided it.
Yeah.
2010. Gosnell allegedly engaged in continuing criminal enterprise by writing and dispensing fraudulent prescriptions for thousands of pills of the frequently abused OxyContin, Percocet, and Xanax. He also prescribed the frequently abused syrups like Phenergan and promethazine with codeine.
Phenergan will make me see little people on the wall.
Right.
It really will.
Right.
I can't take it.
So a little story. A side note. Last week, I've been kind of taking a break from pot smoking and just having an edible every now and then. But last Friday, I was like, you know what? We're not going live tonight. Because you were doing your spring break with Odd Daughter. And
Right.
I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna go buy some joints and I'm gonna get a beer and I'll be fine. I'll be great.
I'll be okay.
I went outside by the camper, sat down and lit up the joint and had 2 sips of the beer, and I was like, I gotta call Hakia. Everything feels way too real right now. And then the whole time I just had her
Can
on-
you help me out of the yard?
No, the best part was sitting there going, I am not going to tell her that I'm too stoned. I'm just going to play it cool. And I had an internal struggle of existential.
Were you doing the lip smacking?
Yes.
Like I didn't already know.
She's all, you okay? I was like, I'm good. And I'm just staring at the clouds. I was like, oh man, this was too much. Too much.
They say I hated that when I was young. Like when your parents like all of a sudden like completely like butt in on your buzz and you're like, I've got to act like I'm not high. I've got to act like I'm not high. And then you feel like even more stoned and you're like, oh God, just leave.
I swore off drinking. I swore off pot. And then an hour later, I was like, I feel great. I want more pot and more beers.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I have never gotten so sick than drinking and smoking at the same time.
Yeah. That was the infamous shower. The showers I had when I was way too drunk.
I remember that. Aki text me. He's in the shower and the water's cold.
He's been in there for 4 hours. 4 hours.
So get this. Authorities further allege that Gosnell and his family allowed staff. It was kind of his family too. It was his wife and stuff.
This
His
demon
staff
family.
allowed customers to purchase multiple prescriptions under multiple names. For the office visit, Gosnell allegedly charged $115, but around December 2009, he allegedly increased to a visit fee of $150. Staff at the clinic went from writing several hundred prescriptions for controlled substances per month at pharmacies in 2008 to over 2,300.
To go back on that real fast.
Wow.
To over 2,300 filled at pharmacies in January of 2010.
When we wonder how
just in 1 month.
Yeah.
When we wonder how he got away with all this stuff, and it was his family. A lot of people that did work there was his family. So that right there is one of the reasons why he got away with a lot of things. Do you need some water?
Well, and also there was probably a lot of people that didn't want their pill supply to be cut off.
Yeah.
Get them hooked, they'll keep coming back and they won't say shit.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I don't know where it's at.
I smell it, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at right now.
All right. So Gosnell, with the assistance of his staff, is said to have distributed and dispensed more than 500,000 pills containing oxycodone, more than 400,000 pills of alazapram, which is Xanax, and more than 19,000 ounces of cough syrup containing codeine.
Wow.
Wow. Like that whole town was high.
Oh, yeah.
Not gonna lie, I miss bubblegum flavored codeine syrup.
Yeah.
I missed that shit when I was a kid. Gosh. Gosnell's lawyer stated that everybody's made him a butcher, this and that and the other thing, without any trial, without anything being exposed to the public, and everybody's found him guilty. That's not right.
Everything is
Fuck
racist. Everything.
Wait, I'm sorry. You have fetus parts in empty cat cans. Your freezer is full.
This is what people are defending, half the time. Like when I sit there and see Facebook stuff on or whatever arguments or getting into arguments with like liberals and stuff like that, I'm like, you realize you're arguing. You are defending these core beliefs right here that you have not seen actually happen in real life.
It's right there in the cup.
But
sorry, I needed gum.
No, it's not. It's empty. I was like, you are actually defending all this stuff like that is very, very evil. And how can you do it? Like when you see what happens here, when you see this happening for 40 years and you're like actually defending it.
Well, I think some people just are incapable of acknowledging.
And we're the cult members.
I don't know.
Right?
We're the cult members when we say, I don't exactly agree with this.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep. I got it. Gosnell's lawyer also said that the government was he accused them of a lynching.
Yeah. Fucking hell, man. When in doubt, man. Racism.
Even though the majority of his patients were people of color and people of all of them were low income.
Yeah.
I'm flabbergasted by the lawyer's comment.
Yeah.
This is a targeted, elitist, and racist prosecution of a doctor who's done nothing but give back to the poor and the people of West Philadelphia.
Have you seen a lot of the arguments right now for
look at the pictures, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you heard a lot of the arguments right now abortions save lives. I was like, it's literally meant to kill. It does not save lives. Like the very meaning of it.
It's ridiculous.
There's people in Texas
a lot
right
of
now.
that
No,
is
there's
because
not.
they try to bunch in medical procedures with elective abortion.
Exactly.
And that's a grift.
It
They're
is.
grifting you.
It's half truth. It's not real. It's yeah.
Two different things.
I had people coming after me because I was talking about how making the choice to have an abortion when you really didn't medically need one. One, it takes a toll on somebody's mental health. But two, if you don't do it at the right time, like if you go past that 8 week, which by the way, there's a heartbeat before that. But if you go past that, you're doing this electively. Dude, why do you keep having sex?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But
just go have your ovaries taken out. It's so much easier.
somebody mentioned to me, oh, well, what about a DNC? I was like, that's a DNC. That's a medically necessary procedure. Well, a miscarriage is called spontaneous abortion. Yeah, you're just grasping at straws now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, stop trying to make your
That's
point.
like saying, why does the sun come up in the morning and set at night?
Yeah.
Because that's nature. That's what happens.
Yeah. Like, people were coming after me, and I was like, look, you can disagree with me all you want, and that's the beauty of this shit.
I'm not going to change my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to change my opinion on this. You know that I'm right. And I'm sorry. I get that people make mistakes. I get that people get pregnant too soon, but you made the choice.
Oh, yeah.
You knew exactly what was going to happen.
Well, it's like Hexa said last on episode 1 or part 1. You always know, unless for some reason you literally are sterile, whether it's due to just, whatever, or, you've had things tucked and tied and everything else. There's always a chance.
Yeah.
There is always a chance. And as an adult, you have to take that responsibility.
No, you do. You absolutely do. It's another thing. Like I heard, we were listening to a new podcast with the Whatever podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the girls on there, and it's funny to say it. It made me laugh at the time. But one of the chicks on there had, she's like, I have a breeding kink. And then I was like, wait a second. I was like, this is what's wrong with you guys right now with this generation. This is where you guys look at abortion like it's nothing. I was like, you just said you have a breeding kink. The actual act of sex is literally a breeding kink by everybody because we all want to breed. That is what it is. I was like, you guys just take it so lightly, like it's nothing. Like it means nothing,
It's crazy.
Well, it's because it doesn't affect them directly. Like it does not, like it's not like I'm going in to have an abortion and that's going to kill me. I'm electing to kill myself. No, it's not affecting you directly.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
It's narcissistic behavior.
Yeah. I just can't grasp or understand the mindset of basically using it as a form of birth control.
No. And I think we've all known people that have done that. And then I've known people that have been forced to get one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they were underage and it screwed them up just as bad.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't
100%.
want to have it. They didn't want to have it done. So.
Ready to comment real fast?
Kisa, I saw that video.
Which
that one girl that was like, if we can't go to the sun during the day, why don't we just go when it's nighttime, when it's off?
What was it? Which comment?
She was at the bottom.
What?
Kisa said, I like what they, I like what they, what that one girl said. We can go to the sun at night. It's to test it.
Yeah. So the video was a girl legitimately saying, "Why don't
she was serious?"
Yeah, she was serious. She was like, "Why don't we go at night?"
Like the one chick.
Like the sun turns off.
Like the chick.
You just pull like little hanging, the one of those little hanging chains. Just click.
Yeah, basically.
What was it? The chick that thought Louis Armstrong went to space. Help! I am in space. I'm running out of oxygen. This person really thought they said Louis Armstrong with no oxygen to space.
And it was something about, wasn't it something like, if you can't breathe in space, how did Louis Armstrong get to the moon? Or
Yeah,
some
it was
shit?
something along the lines, though. She didn't believe it was real because Louis Armstrong was
They
able
shot him from a cannon.
Yeah.
You don't go up in a spaceship. They just stuff
No.
you down a cannon and aim it at the sky.
Well, they shove you in a volcano and hope it blows up soon.
Right. Oh, one more thing before we end tonight, or talking about this guy. Actually, a few things real fast.
Yeah, there's a couple things.
One, I love this. This is why do these assholes always take this road?
What is it?
I'm very close to being destitute. However, he was not.
Fuck you, dude.
The records showed that he and his wife owned at least 17 properties across 4 states, including a $1 million house in Brigantine, New Jersey.
Oh.
I am close to being destitute. Fuck you, bud.
You know, that's another thing. Like, you never see these leftists like talk about like the
Like
profit.
a cardboard box is too good. Sorry.
They never once talk about the fucking profit they make off this shit. Like, all these places make profit, and they should not be allowed to make any profit. None.
Mm-mm. No.
Other cases cited in the media. A girl that was 15 years old, accompanied by a relative in 1998, said to have told Gosnell that she changed her mind about the abortion once inside the practice.
Oh, yeah. This one was brutal.
He got upset with her, ripped her clothes off, and restrained her forcibly.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
He's a serial killer. He is straight up a serial killer. Like, he was about to have his fix denied. And he's all, nope, I'm going to take it from you.
Yeah.
He also told her, apparently, this is the same care that I would give my own daughter.
I believe him. I 100% believe him.
She regained consciousness 12 hours later at her aunt's house, the abortion having been completed against her will.
Wow.
Another woman, 28 years old, 5 months pregnant in 2001. Patient described the pain 4 days after abortion as being so bad that she could barely walk. The patient described that upon returning to the clinic because of the pain, the ultrasound actually showed that there were pieces of the fetus still inside her uterus, and that Gosnell suctioned them out without anesthesia.
Wow.
She said, I was just laying on the table and crying.
So she was awake the whole time while you did it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were supposed to be put out.
You are.
Like, you were supposed to. Like, I went in when I went in for my gallbladder to be taken out. I didn't. I said something along the lines of like what kind of anesthetic it was, and my doctor was adamant that she will not do the surgery unless I am completely put under. And that was just for a gallbladder. This wasn't a baby being removed.
Well,
from
they
the
don't want
uterus.
you to move.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
15-year-old. They didn't really have a time frame. Damages awarded in court upon finding that Gosnell performed an abortion on a 15-year-old without parental permission.
Wow.
Wow.
If he would have waited another 10 years, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble for that one.
A lack of government oversight. Excuse me. Reports stated that the state officials had failed to visit or inspect Gosnell's practice since 1993.
Fucking hell, man.
The grand jury report noted that the medical examiner of Delaware County alerted the Pennsylvania Department of Health that Gosnell had performed an illegal abortion on a 14-year-old who was 30 weeks pregnant. It is also claimed that Pennsylvania Department of Health did not act when they became aware of Gosnell's involvement in the death of Karnamaya Mongar. That's obvious. We knew that.
Yeah.
Brenda Green, executive director of Choice, a nonprofit that connects the uninsured and underinsured with health services, told Katha Pollitt of the Nation that I tried to report complaints from clients, but the department wouldn't accept them from a third party. Instead, the patients had to fill out a daunting 5-page form, available only in English, that required them to reveal their identities up front and be able to testify in Harrisburg. Even the choice staffers were there to help, or even with choice staffers there to help, only 2 women agreed to fill out the form, and both of them decided not to submit it. The Department of State and the Philadelphia Public Health Department had ample warning of the dire conditions and took no action. I'm telling you, it was the location and kickbacks.
Yep.
In 2011, it was reported that none of Pennsylvania's 22 abortion clinics had been inspected by the government for more than 15 years.
That's insane.
Inspections other than those
That
triggered
is
by
some
complaints.
people turning a blind eye
You ever
or just gross incompetence.
Well,
you ever want to know why I'm so relieved to have RFK Jr. in there right now? This is why.
inspections other than those triggered by complaints had ceased under the governorship of Tom Ridge. They were perceived to create a barrier to women seeking abortion services. Inspections.
Yeah.
No, this is a health risk, this place.
Oh,
This
yeah.
place is a health risk.
The grand jury published its 280-page report in January of 2011. It stated that while some might see the issue and case through a lens of pro or anti-abortion politics, it was in reality not about controversy. It's about disregard of the law and disdain for the lives and health of mothers and infants.
Exactly.
We find common ground in exposing what happens here and in recommending measures to prevent anything like this from ever happening again. The grand jury concluded that the practice was a corrupt organization within the meaning of racketeering law, based upon what it considered evidence of deliberate standard use of bogus doctors, falsification of records, grossly unprofessional procedures with little to no regard for human life, and flagrant disregard for medical and abortion laws and their consequences. Key findings included practice conditions and procedures, extreme unsanitary conditions resulting in cases of STDs and sepsis, pervasive non-sterile conditions, bloodstained materials and instruments, contamination of the facilities by animal feces, urine, and other noxious fluids and waste. The months old remains of fetuses stored in jars, bags, and jugs. In 2013, the trial heard that Gosnell had also been in a dispute with his medical waste company, with the latter stopping their services, which is why he had a pile of it in the basement.
Wow. Could you imagine the smell in that place? Just the death smell everywhere.
Surgical malpractice.
Well, you know that.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it reminds me a lot of the family here in Georgia that were up in North Georgia that had the crematorium.
Oh, yeah.
And the crematorium broke down. I can't remember their names right off the top of my head, but and they were like a highly esteemed family that people looked up to, and like she was a school teacher and everything. But rather than just get it fixed, they were just like piling up people like cordwood and sending the loved ones, like literally they just burn some wood and send them ashes.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
And it had been going on for years. Like there were corpses everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, they never thought of pyres, funeral pyres, just going back to the old ways? Just giant wood, just throw the bodies on there and go that. At least you're taking care of it. Sorry.
Well, check this out. Surgical malpractice, including perforation of bodily organs, and on at least 2 occasions, death, improper equipment and usage, including repeated reuse over and over of disposable supplies and generally broken life-saving monitoring equipment, including blood pressure monitoring, oximeters, and defibrillators. Padlocking emergency exits.
Yeah, the picture right there.
And
That is-
I guess they didn't want any of them people escaping.
Exactly.
I
lack.
just saw another picture I can't look at.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Lack of properly trained staff, bogus doctors, unqualified, unlicensed, and unsupervised staff who misrepresented themselves to patients as qualified licensed clinicians. No qualified nurses. The jury reported that most of Gosnell's employees who worked with patients had little or no remotely relevant training or education. Ex-employee Marcella Chung, who in 2001 and in an interview in 2002 gave a detailed written complaint to the Pennsylvania Department of State, testified that her training for anesthesia consisted of a 15-minute description by Gosnell
Oh my God.
and reading a chart that he had posted on a cabinet.
You want to?
It's a wonder more people didn't die from overdoses. It
Oh, yeah.
really, really is.
Gosnell himself, largely absent and left the clinic to be operated by his unqualified employees, whom he sometimes ordered to perform the medical actions, even though they protested that they were unqualified. Employees testified that they had to rely on themselves, as Gosnell disliked it when workers just disturbed him by calling him for medical advice.
That's crazy.
You know, I wonder how many of these employees were actually hooked on pills too, because first of all, I wouldn't have been there. Secondly, if for some oddball reason I was that freaking oblivious and didn't know exactly what was going on at my place of employment, if somebody asked me to do something like this and I was unqualified, the next place I'm going is the police department.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, you can shove this up your ass. I'm going to the police department.
Mm-hmm. Operation of a prescription treadmill, whereby blank signed prescriptions would be left for those seeking controlled medications, unsupervised and uncontrolled by a practitioner, which was the subject of a parallel and separate federal investigation. Willful noncompliance with laws intended to safeguard vulnerable women, including noncompliance with requirements for mandatory counseling, consent for minors, waiting periods between visiting and surgery, fraudulent temporary employment of a nurse for 4 days during an inspection by the International Abortion Federation with the national, not international, with the aim of deceiving the inspectors into believing that his practice staff included a licensed registered nurse, which it did not, over the few days of their on-site review. The nurse resigned upon realizing the fraud, which also involved Gosnell taking her paycheck back afterwards and paying her in cash instead. Fraudulent recording of gestational age and training of staff to manipulate ultrasound in a way that would match the stated number of weeks. Dishonest statements by Gosnell and employees to investigators, including claims that Karnamaya's death was due to her own action, which was forensically discredited.
Mm-hmm.
Falsification and destruction of records and lying about the manner of her death, and Gosnell's lack of presence for the anesthesia. Patients given labor and delivery inducing drugs during the day and then left waiting until late in the evening for Gosnell to attend for surgery. Many giving birth during the day as a result, and the employees testified that it was standard procedure for the women to deliver viable babies and fetuses into the toilets while they waited. Practice staff routinely delivering live babies in the third trimester and subsequently killing them or ensuring their death.
Crazy.
Part of this, fetuses and babies had their demise ensured post-operatively by severing the spinal cord with scissors, and it was known to the staff by snipping. Most of these were deemed infeasible to prosecute because files and other evidence were not held, although the report stipulates that they numbered in the hundreds. Among the few cases that were tangible and evidence existed, the jury noted that a boy that was 30 weeks aged at 6 pounds was, and then a frozen body in a water container that was at least 28 weeks, remains of at least one that was over 32 weeks, which for an extra 1,000 had been demanded. Testimony of a baby heard making noise.
Yeah.
A baby left moving and breathing for at least 20 minutes prior to the snipping. The jury heard testimony about special Sunday sessions where only Gosnell and his wife were present.
What the fuck?
Which the jury suspected in some cases were and in some cases were able to corroborate, would include cases that were more advanced in time.
Yeah.
Or more disturbing.
Yeah, or more disturbing.
They were getting off on this shit.
Oh, yeah.
They were. They absolutely were.
You guys know the rest.
Yeah, we're there. Where's he incarcerated at right now?
Hell, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, he tore some women up.
Oh,
It
he
does
did.
go into all that. Like physically tore them up to where they needed additional surgeries.
Yep.
Yeah. He is currently imprisoned at SCI Huntingdon.
Huh. Well, hopefully he gets a visit from another inmate.
I'm hoping he has been.
Yeah.
For the last
Several times.
14
in a row.
times.
A whole train of them. A whole
Yep.
train of pineapples.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a curious case of Kermit Gosnell.
That motherfucker.
I'm not curious no more.
No, I'm not curious anymore either. I promise next week we'll have next week is Mother
Next
de
week's
la Mort.
Mother de la Mort.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
then we're going to have a really, I hate to say cool one because it involves people dying, but an interesting one.
yeah, right after that. It's going to be good. It's going to be
Yes.
real good. So,
Yeah, it'll be
My
interesting.
brain make your
yeah. Come walk with me or something. I can't remember the lyrics right now.
And I promise you,
All
I will
right.
treat you well.
Kisa.
Hey, Whitechapel!
Hey, Whitechapel. Where's he at?
I just saw him pop up on here. I'm sorry I
Oh.
didn't see you sooner.
Okay. Yeah, we're done. We're about to take off, guys. Kisa, when we get some I'll get us some comments here real fast. Where are we at? Kisa says, what a wonderful world. Yeah, it's insane. Very disturbing. And she said right, Hexus. I'm just happy she said right. All right. A broom up the you-know-what would be nice. Yes, it would be. But the bristled side, though, not the
Can we
easy
make
side.
him the new
Not
Mary
the
Lloyd?
smooth side. Not the smooth side.
Let's make him a hobby horse.
A hobby horse. Can we make him into a Trojan horse?
Maybe what is it? The brazen bull.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
real
I think
good
he
one.
deserves the brazen bull.
Yeah, to be braised.
Yeah.
So.
Heck yeah.
To be braised.
Well, so yeah, we're gonna be next week Mother de la Mort Friday night, and then I'm gonna be doing some gaming next week too.
Yep.
So and then we'll be back on track the week after that with a cool one, with a nice one.
Yeah.
I know you.
Well, I don't
did it
know
the
how
whole time,
nice it
sorry.
is, but interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
I don't know why
Interesting.
they weren't popping up. Like when you popped in, it didn't pop up.
Oh,
But yeah.
it happens.
Sorry.
New stuff we're using now and getting used to it. Otherwise, I mean,
Yeah.
there were some pictures in here we could have showed, and I still am getting used to the media stuff on Streamlabs and how to bring things up.
I
So-
don't think I would have shown any of those pictures.
No, not of the children, but of the actual.
You could
pictures
have
of
probably
people.
showed the refrigerator.
Yeah, you could have showed the refrigerator and stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, there's two in there. I mean, just go to Wikipedia, look up Kermit Gosnell,
Yeah,
and you can see
It's
you can see
brutal.
the pictures. Yeah.
all right,
I feel
guys.
sorry for those little babies.
Yeah, I do too.
So.
We'll be back next week and have a good night.
Bye.
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 I am the force of the world.